But yeah, did y'all want to do a round of sweep or sell today?
Hell yeah, let's do
Hey,
it.
I'm always
All right.
down for a little sweep or so.
Everybody's favorite segment, sweep or sell. All right, let's get it. Let's get OpenSea pulled up right quick.
Oh,
I
that's a
think the
sweep.
top,
That's an easy.
the CryptoPunks at the sweep. Let's see what floor price they
No,
are.
loser clubs.
Oh, loser. Yeah, they get the honorary sweep from Ty.
Yeah, honorary sweep. Shout out.
All right, so coming in at the number one spot for the week, 24-hour volume, CryptoPunks. Obviously, no surprise there after the Tiffany's announcement. Current floor is sitting at 74.75 ETH. I'll get us started. I'm sweeping this one. I still think Punks under 100 long term is a pretty. I don't know. That's something that I would take any day. That kind of bet. Kaizen, we'll kick it over to you because I'm pretty sure we know your answer also.
Yeah, I feel lucky to have gotten in. I'm looking at the floor of. So really, what's happened is everything has been bought up. Like everything that's on the floor now was at like that one right there. I really like that one that's on the floor, the 74.5 or 74.75. Like I was considering that. But yeah, basically everything that was under that has just been eaten up, and looks like a lot of people aren't moving their price up. I think it's a buy, man. And then Tiffany's announcement definitely moved it because I was kind of tracking Punks yesterday morning, and it was like 68. So the floor had fallen like 2 or 3 ETH since I bought in. And so I was still, it's a long-term buy, but I was still like, it feels better when you buy something and it starts going up versus down. So I still think it's a great buy for sure.
Ty, what you thinking on this one? Oh, his picture disappeared. I don't know. We might have lost Ty again. Yeah, Ty, I think we lost your audio. He's still in here. I think we lost audio again. We'll come back to you. We'll come back to Ty on that one once he gets back in here. But we can move on to number 2 right now. We got Bored Ape Yacht Club sitting at 85 ETH floor price. Let me let Ty in right here. All right, Ty, you're back. Is the audio working this time? All right, I think we're still having audio issues. We'll give them a few seconds. But moving on to the Bored Ape Yacht Club. To me, I'm buying this at 85 ETH. I think the floor's been sitting low for a minute. Kaizen and I were DMing about this last week, just because we've been looking at all these other plays, and it seems very easy to like sell your ape and then go in on something else, like almost too easy. Oh wait, can y'all not hear me either?
No, I hear you. I cannot hear Ty yet, so hopefully he's getting in.
Okay, no, all good. Yeah, so like we were saying earlier, like it seems too easy to sell your ape and then just go get something else, which I've been around the apes since like April of 2021, like a month after they were created. And this is the point where you should probably look to be buying apes instead of just putting them off. So for me, this is to me that's an indicator that this is probably a good buy point for the apes. Kaizen, what you thinking on this?
I feel the same way. I think it's a buy, and I honestly, I brought this up before, and I hate to even bring it up, man, but there's so much FUD about this kind of alt-right connection, and there's some new stuff that came out from Wave Ninja just yesterday, and I don't know if you've dug into that.
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, so Wave Ninja is a guy that rocks a Coolcat PFP, and I guess he did an interview with Gordon Goner just recently, and he's publishing it. I think he kind of leaked some of it yesterday, and I think the full article is going to come out today. But it's just he won't let that go. He's kind of following Ryder Rips's thesis on the whole thing, and I think it's commendable that Gordon Goner was sat down and talked with this guy, but I think at this point, man, like they just need to back away from it and let their PR team do the talking. Like it's such a huge entity now that I don't know, man. Like I think that Gordon is being very, very forthright about his opinion on it. And I think it's such a stretch to try and connect it to anything like that. But your words can get twisted, and that's why they have PR people. And I think once all that washes away, like, and it will, like, it's just a matter of time until everything starts to pump again. But I think that is something that's kind of like stagnating the whole thing. What do you think? I mean, I know that you haven't read this latest article, but what's your big picture take on all of that?
Yeah, no, I was surprised that you brought that up because I thought the whole Nazi situation was already just like a done deal. Like I thought people already realized that once Yuga Labs is taking the Ryder Rips to court, like I thought that was the end of it, to be honest. So I'm surprised to hear that it's still going on. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I really don't think it's got an effect on the floor price, just because I think the people that think the Nazi stuff is true are so far removed from Web3 that they're not going to be anywhere close to the people that would be buying these things. And I think the people that are involved in the space don't really see that as legitimate. So it really just sucks for the people that aren't as involved in the space, that think there's actually malicious stuff going on when there isn't. I think in the end everything's gonna get. I mean, to me these claims aren't true at all. I think they're just baseless claims used to slander the apes and then give the people who are making these comments more engagement and get more eyes on their own stuff. So I just think it's a whole bad situation going on, but I think everything will end up all right, and like once all the dust is settled.
Yeah, I think you probably nailed it, man. Like I think absolutely. Like there's definitely Bored Ape haters, and they're just gonna hate regardless. And I doubt there might be one person that was on the fence that got pulled to the dark side, but that's probably it. Like one person is the only guy that was affected by this whole kind of ridiculous thing. And yeah, I think you nailed it too on the second part with Ryder. Like he's like, hey, these things are problematic, so buy my collection, which is a total ripoff of it. Like, which I think just makes his whole stance totally ridiculous. I think that that's the key takeaway.
Yeah. We can move on to number 3 because I hate giving it more attention than it deserves. Not that I'm glad you brought it up, but yeah, we don't need to give Ryder any more attention, I don't think.
I agreed, man. I totally agree. Fair point.
All right, so number 3, we got Big Eye Rebellion. I don't know what this is. It's got less than a 0.01 floor price, so this has got to be wash trading, I'm assuming.
Man, it might be. When I did a little bit of research into it, and just what I saw was just, hey, this is another free mint that just got some legs for a minute. That if you got it for free and you minted 100 of them, like nice move. But you should probably just sell them because they're going to go to zero. Like that's my.
These look like free mint alien boys.
Yep. That's my take, man. If the artist is out there, man, no offense, but I've seen a lot of those kind of come and go.
Yeah, we'll find you a better artist for your next collection if you're out there. All right, so mutants are at number 4, 16.7 ETH floor price. I think this is actually lower than it's lower than the ratio that we've been seeing in the past between the mutants and the Bored Apes, but I actually think it's pretty close. I think it's about 1/5, maybe somewhere between 1/4 and 1/5 of the price. I think since I'm pretty sure the apes are bottomed out, I think mutants probably have too, just going along those same lines. So I'd be sweeping these at 16.7.
Yeah, same. I think they're extremely undervalued, and that's kind of the problem with. I think they're affected a little bit more than the apes, just with the 20K 20K volume that you're going to just have with twice the amount of holders. You're going to just have more people that want liquidity and want out and want to get into something else. So I think, yeah, that's, in my opinion, the ratio will always drift a little bit lower in a bear market, just for that simple fact.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how that's affecting the distribution of these things. I'm seeing right here, there's 13K owners out of the almost 20K supply. I would be interested to see how that's changed over time, because I guarantee through this past bear market, the percentage has been going up from people that have extras just trying to get out of something that they can get good liquidity for, and spread their money through different projects that are at low values.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, kind of just me thinking out loud there. All right. So number 5, we got Stickmin Toys. I'm not going to lie, I haven't looked too much into these. I think the mint price was higher than what the current price is, but this is the new Bose NFT. It looks like also a collab with Warner Records. 0.12 seems pretty cheap. I would go with Sweep on this just because of the association with some of these bigger name companies. But as far as the actual utility, I haven't had the chance to dive in yet. How about you, Kaizen?
I dug in a little bit, and man, the one thing I did see that it was actually a free mint according to the website, but I don't know if you had to own something or maybe join a raffle to get one. There's only 5K, like you said. I think they're interesting, man. Like that's a meta. Like I was talking with Roberto, who's part of the ATX group, Roberto, and he's really bullish on these collaborations that have physical components. And this one's talking about having, what did it say? If you own one, you gain access to live events and the ability to claim Stickmin toys, streetwear, and physical collectibles. And that's a meta that there's a lot of people that are into. I haven't really bought into a lot of stuff that do that, but that's something that makes sense, man. With the Bose partnership, I would say at this price, it's a buy. I haven't done it yet, but I mean, yeah, it makes sense. There's a lot of other things that in the same range that have a much lower percentage of doing anything. I think these have a lot going for them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did see on here that they are giving IP rights with these things, so it seems like you'll be able to use them in other projects. Maybe they'll get integrated into other stuff too, which is one of the things that's really important for different collections. Like if CryptoPunks didn't get their IP back from Larva Labs, then there would be no Christie's pendant that you could get with your CryptoPunk on it. So yeah, I gotta say I would be sweeping these also for that reason. I think even though there might not be a clear cut thing right now for what the path lays for Stickmin, I think the upside is there. So yeah, I'd be sweeping those as well. So for number 6, we got Lady Ape Club. I hate all Bored Ape derivatives, so this is a sell for me at 0.9, which I don't even think. I'll stop talking about it because I haven't done enough research on the Lady Apes yet. But yeah, I would not buy these. What about you, Kaizen?
No way. We were kind of looking at this last week. I don't think we talked about it, but to me, it's a derivative of a derivative. Like it's obviously centered around the Bored Ape ecosystem. And just a few months ago, we had Desperate Ape Wives, which is almost the exact same thing. And now we have Lady Ape Club. Like, hey, if you got it for free or at mint price, my advice to you would be sell it right now. Like, this is not going to become the next blue chip. Like, it's just I can't see any possibility of that happening.
Yeah, no copies of other collections do well, so there's no reason why I don't think this one would be any different. All right, Rags to Richie by Alec Monopoly is number 7 on the daily volume. I think this one's interesting because I know Alec Monopoly is a well-known artist, but I don't know much about him. So as far as the 0.54 price goes, To me, this is completely out of my realm. If I had one for this price, especially if I minted it for lower and it's already in profit, I would be selling right here. What about you? What you thinking, Kaizen?
Yeah, I would sell too. And I did a little research on him, and it looks like I was talking to somebody else that was familiar with him this past week, and they said like, yeah, he was like a street artist and just had like that underground vibe, right? And like slowly he's morphed into almost like a Instagram influencer kind of guy that still does his art, but he's just very driven by like posting with the fancy cars and just kind of like balling on Instagram. And I don't know, man, like that's just a little bit of a turnoff, like to me. And that's really would be a stupid reason not to buy something. But but that's kind of where I'm at. Like, honestly, like I want to support people. I kind of like that underground underdog vibe a little bit more. Like this guy is already very established and doesn't need my 0.55 ETH to kind of push ahead. And that all those would signal to me like it would be more of a cash grab kind of thing versus like, hey, this guy's really kind of needs it. Like he really needs this money to like continue as an artist. Like I just don't know, man. There's enough in there for me not to go after it.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair point. I think, especially once you start diving into like the Instagram, like the professional Instagram influencers, I don't know. There's just something about them that I can't trust.
Exactly. Yep. And that's it. And that's again maybe a superficial reason just to pass on something that has some potential. But man, I've only got so much ETH. Like I can't buy everything, and that's if I don't feel the vibe, I'm not going to buy it. So that's where I'm at.
Totally. All right, so we got 3 left on this top 10 list. We got other deeds next up. These have been, I think, every single week I've said I'd be buying these, and they keep going lower. And I'm gonna stay with it. I would still be buying these at 2.15. The problem is the floor has been. There's so many things listed, and everyone's just keep lowering and lowering the price. So I really don't see a quick return on these. But I think in the long run, people will be able to look back and be like, all right, 2.15 was a pretty good price for these.
Yeah, man, it's a tough one for me. Like I've actually, it's the floor's gotten low enough for the first time for me to actually think about buying back in. Like I've sold some off that I had a nice bag of them, and I've just kind of slowly been selling as the price has been falling, and now it's low enough to where I'm actually looking for buys. And I think that would be the play, like either buy the floor, right? That'd be the most liquid, or you might be able to find something that's way underpriced. And that's what I've been doing is just digging through, kind of looking for gems. And I know there's going to be some deals out there because it's just selling these is even more difficult, right? Like there's so many kind of niche traits. This collection is bigger, way like 10 times bigger than your average collection, and there's just so many traits and so many kind of unique items, and you kind of have to zoom out to the lowest common denominator to even get anybody to consider buying your stuff. But yeah, man, 2.15 is low, and I could also see a possibility of these continuing to drift, so to drift lower. But again, for the first time, I'm looking at trying to find deals. So I think it would be a sweep for me at this point.
Awesome. Yeah, I think one of the other reasons why people are uncertain is because they know that there's going to be 100K more of these, and we're not sure how they're going to be distributed yet. So That's probably got a lot of people taking the cautious side because there's going to be a lot more supply in the future, and who knows how that's going to end up affecting the price. But just one thing I noticed really quick before we move on to the next thing is that the floor price right now for the other deeds are 2.15, and the floor price for Mutant Land is 2.41. So it's really not that much higher than the floor, and I think that's a possible arbitrage trade that could be made at these current prices.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. I've been looking at a similar plays to that. Like Exactly. Like those should be valued way higher than the floor. So
Right. And,
yeah,
and the
good
actual
call.
ape ones, the floor for those are 5. So there's a big difference going on right there.
And hey, I wanted this is might be a good time. I know we're running low on time, but I just wanted to. I saw a thread, and I wish it was a long time ago. I wish I knew who to credit for this, but they were speculating that the this new 100K drop of land is going to be like in the real world, like it's the other side, right? Like what we have right now is the other side, like this kind of mystical Coda world. That the other drop is going to be like the real world of the apes, like kind of the world of like in the swamp and like the rest of that city. So maybe more of like a Grand Theft Auto vibe. And I just think that that's a fact at this point. Like the more I've kind of been marinating on that idea, like I think it makes a lot of sense that that's exactly what it's going to be. That those little doorways are portals to the real world.
That's a really interesting take. I haven't seen that before. That would be really cool if like they get some event going on where you got to go. I'm sure they place it all over, and then you could get stuff from certain places. Is that like kind of what they're alluding to?
Yeah, I think it's just yeah, exactly. Like it would like just this new set would be like in the real Bored Ape world of like there's the swamp and then there's the city and like more like our world. And I imagine it'd be laid out in a similar way. Like some of it's in the city, some of it's in like a small town, some of it's in the swamp. Like so it'd be kind of parceled out the same way, but just in like more of a real world versus this fantasy world.
I gotcha. Yeah, that would be awesome. Send me that. I want to. If you can find that thread, definitely send that in the group after it because I want to check that out and come up with some. See if I can connect any other dots there too.
Yeah, I'll
That
try and
would
find it, man. It was months ago, and I don't. When did these drop? Like it was within a month
be
of these
April, I think
dropping.
May
Okay,
maybe.
okay, so maybe I saw that in June, but it'll be hard to find. But I want to see it too, man, because I think they nailed it. And it was one of those things I read, and I was like, that makes sense to me. And I just kind of thought it'd be part of the collective consciousness about this, and I never saw another whisper of anything along those lines.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I figured we could start with you on this next one because I know you were looking into Nina's super cool world a little bit earlier. What do you think about the 0.69 floor price?
I like this. Like I don't honestly. My taste in art, like I don't love the art to be honest with you, but I love the fact like I was reading about the artist Nina Chanel Abney, and I like her story. I like her vibe. Like this is definitely a continuation of her style. Like I'm definitely a bigger fan of her larger format pieces that are in this same style. And I really was am bullish on the team. Like I was scrolling down, like if you click on the link that to her website in the OpenSea, like she's got just some of the names jumped out at me. Like Pharrell's a member of this team, Todd Kramer, Jimmy Eth, and just like and there's probably some of these other people, other people know more about, but just for me to look at this team, like that's a star-studded cast. She's a legitimate, like
Ooh,
real
Cause
world
is there
artist.
too.
What was that? Cause, yeah, he's in there, and um, man, I think that I love the low supply. Um, honestly, it looks like the prices might be pulling back a little bit at the moment. So I would probably this is one that I would track or maybe just put in some low bids. Um, but this is something I'll probably put in my wish list and just kind of track. Like I personally don't feel like I would need to jump in at this price, but I feel like maybe it'll pull back and I could sneak in at a lower entry point.
So are you going for sweep or sell on this one?
Man, right now I'm gonna sell, but I'm gonna again bookmark it and potentially sweep in at a lower point.
Cool. So we got a little short-term sell going on there for Kaizen.
Yep.
I like that take. I've seen Nina's Super Cool World in the top 10 or at least around it for the past week or two. I actually looked into this on a live research stream a couple weeks ago, whenever it was first dropping, and it seemed like a really cool story. Nina seems like a really cool artist. I think she's got a good purpose behind all of this stuff. I'm just not familiar with her as an artist. I kind of like what you think as far as the short term price movement goes. I could see the same thing happening, and I see here that there's a lot less owners than total items, so it makes me worry that people might be trying to flip these. So I'd be selling these as well.
Yeah, that's a great point, man, about the owner distribution. Like, yeah, exactly. Let the flippers get out, buy back in lower once it is better distributed. That makes a lot of sense. And hey, I just want to shout out Todd Kramer. He's on that team for artist relations. He's the guy that sold me my my ape. We did an OTC trade, and he's got an art gallery in New York City, and he's a huge degen. And I just was surprised when I saw his face there, and I think it's really cool that he's helping out with this project.
Yeah, that is awesome. I think that's one of the most underrated things about dabbling in the type of stuff that we do. It's you never know who you're gonna meet. Kind of along those lines, one of the people I sold my old ape to back in, I think it was May or June of last year. It was like a little over a year ago. Was the CEO of the Fan Controlled Football. I sold him
Nice.
my ape, and then it just turned like I knew nothing about his project back then. And then fast forward to almost a year later, and I become one of the biggest whales of his collection. So I just think it was funny how some things come full circle in Web3.
Yeah, that is nuts. That's really cool that you guys are back. You're back on his team essentially. That's really great.
Right? Cool. We'll dive into the last. We got the last thing right here. The geometric birds, and then we can wrap this podcast up. But I actually don't know very much about these, and I think you do since you're a little bit more tapped into the moonbirds community. So I'll start with you on this one.
Man, my overall thesis is I don't really care for the derivatives. So that said, I'm looking at the floor like maybe this 0.41 bird would be a good one to buy, and then try and sell closer to the 0.78 floor that's right above it, so that maybe a little arbitrage would be. I'll sweep this one and list it at 0.7 and just make a nice quick 0.3. But other than
looks
that,
like somebody already bought it.
Did
There's
they?
no
Okay.
one 4-1 though.
Okay, let me see.
So maybe there is interest at these prices, but there's also people that want to sell at these prices.
Yeah, so yeah, I just it's one of those things, man. Like if you can, it's impossible to time everything perfectly. So I just feel as soon as I get something that's a derivative like this and it's pumping, I just want to sell it right away, and just get out before the floor crashes.
Mhm.
It's not a long-term hold. So, and that's what I'm trying to do more. I'm trying to do less flipping and more longer-term holds. So it just goes against my investment thesis. I think they look cool, but yeah, it'd be a sell for me.
Yeah, I'd be selling these too. I just don't think the long-term value is there for these derivative communities. Like it's cool for just a one-off piece of art, but even for me, like I'd rather just right-click save a derivative because I know there's probably not much other value that's going to come out of it besides the actual art. Like unless somebody built a community around like making derivatives, then like maybe that would get me interested in derivatives. But yeah, for these, I wouldn't be buying them because to me it's just like playing hot potato almost. So yeah, I'm out on the geometric birds.